now with Kakhaber Kemoklidze. He's a former head of Georgia's National Security Council office and an intelligence analyst. Currently, he's an invited lecturer at Caucasus University and joins us from the Georgian capital, Tbilisi. Thanks as always for joining us on this news hour. Now, even before this war started, there was speculation that Belarus would help Russia. There hasn't been direct military intervention yet, but do you think that's going to change and Belarus will get involved, despite what some officials have said?
Thank you very much for having me, Yashini. Well, that's a very good question, I guess, and very, very important one for this very moment. We will see what sort of, let's say, official statements is gonna come up after this visit. However, I do think that Mr. Putin, and together with his entire official delegation, has one very major objective in Belarus for this very moment. They want to convince Mr. Lukashenko to be engaged into the military escalation, into the military conflict against Ukraine, including through the ground forces. I think this is one of the key goals of his particular visit after 3 years.
Well, do you think they'll be able to convince Lukashenko? How does this help Belarus at all?
Mr. Lukashenko is a very knowledgeable, let's say, geopolitically very knowledgeable and experienced politician. He has seen a lot of things happening in Western Europe, including in Russia at the same time. So I'm not sure whether it's going to be very easy for Mr. Putin to convince Mr. Lukashenko for this very moment. However, Kremlin would do its best to somehow leverage him at a maximum scale. This is also obvious. I think Mr. Putin will try also to test the waters. What are the clear red lines for Mr. Lukashenko for this very day, or if there are any at the end of the day at the same time. I think what we will see within the next couple of weeks will indicate whether Mr. Putin managed to convince Mr. Lukashenko.
How does getting help from Minsk support Moscow in what it calls its special military operation in Ukraine? Why would Moscow be wanting help from Minsk at all?
I think it's from the military perspective, it is largely very well can be explained very well. If they're going to open once again new front in the north, the southern and southeastern front of the Ukrainian military operation will be largely disrupted. This is probably one of the, let's say, tactical goals from Kremlin and from the Russian military forces at the same time. In my understanding, President Lukashenko does not want its military to be directly engaged on the ground assault operations for several reasons. It's going to suffer a lot, and this particular suffering might at some point instigate a lot of distrust and negative, let's say, perception from the local population. And on the other hand, they are not sure whether they're going to be able to win in the northern battle once again. Ukrainian military forces are very well already experienced, they are very well equipped, and I think they are also very well, pretty much they are ready for the large-scale defense operation for the northern front. So I'm not sure whether President Lukashenko will be convinced that they manage, together with Russian military forces, win the northern assault operation, if there's going to be any, of course.
Kakhaber Kemoklidze, live to us there from Tbilisi. As always, appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine, Rasheen.